Hello and welcome to this week's edition of CTN Community Update. With just 2 weeks to go, there's still plenty of work left for state lawmakers to complete at the Capitol. In addition to a new budget, they're trying to come to an agreement on a bonding bill for public works projects. The city and county are still hoping to receive $12.6 million to move forward with construction of an overpass at the railroad tracks on Hansen Boulevard. More than 12,000 cars and 81 trains cross that intersection each day, making it the #1 crossing for traffic exposure in the state. On Wednesday, local leaders, including Mayor Jerry Cook and Fire Chief John Piper, testified before the House Capital Investment Committee in hopes of securing the necessary funding.
We shoot for a 3 to 4 minute response time. In a medical emergency, seconds count. In a fire, the fire doubles every minute. In a delay, on a normal delay from a train there, it's 3 to 4 minutes. In a worst case scenario, it's 30 minutes. It is critical to emergency response times to get this grade separation in place.
Funding for the project wasn't included in the $600 million bonding bill released by the House on Monday. However, it was in the governor's $1.5 billion bonding proposal released in January. The 2017 legislative session is set to end on May 22nd. A new Star Tribune poll out this week shows most Minnesotans want state lawmakers to get tougher with motorists who text and drive. Of the registered voters who took the poll, 78% said texting or checking Facebook while driving should be treated equal to or more severely than drunken driving, and 79% believe it should be illegal to talk on a cell phone while driving. A 2-week distracted driving crackdown in April resulted in more than 1,000 citations being issued for texting and driving. Distraction is often a factor in crashes. In 2015, distracted driving contributed to 74 deaths and thousands of injuries on Minnesota roads. We're now less than 2 months away from Sunday liquor sales here in Minnesota. On Tuesday night, the City Council amended the city code to allow for Sunday off-sale liquor sales starting July 1st. It mirrors state law, which allows for sales between the hours of 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. The ordinance also allows growler sales on Sundays between the hours of 8 a.m. and 10 p.m. Those are the same hours brewers with restaurants are allowed to serve on Sundays. The City Council wants to salvage a portion of the existing building at Riverwind Park when it's redeveloped next year. That was the direction given to city staff at a council work session this week. The remodeled building would provide meeting space for the public along with restroom facilities for the park, but it will come down to money. The engineer's estimate for the project is $322,000. About $75,000 is in the park bond budget. The city will need to find a funding source for the remaining shortfall. This year marks the 10th anniversary of the Mental Wellness Campaign for Anoka County, and they're getting ready for their biggest fundraising event of the year. The 8th annual 5K Walk for Mental Wellness is coming up next weekend at the Coon Rapids Dam. Last year, 150 people came out for the walk to raise money to help those in need. Organizers say the event is one way to help decrease the stigma around mental illness.
It's really a simple and sweet walk. It's it's a really nice location, Coon Rapids Dam on May 13th. It begins at 11 o'clock in the morning, and you walk a couple times around the lake, and you're just sort of with people who are really also very excited about promoting mental wellness.
Again, the 5K Walk for Mental Wellness is happening on Saturday, May 13th. There will be music and refreshments. Registration begins at 10 a.m., followed by a short program at 10:30, and then the walk at 11. For more information, log on to the Mental Wellness Campaign's website. Back in December, a Minnesota mission trip to help the people of Cameroon, Africa, nearly ended in tragedy for one of its members. CTN's Steve Antis has more on what happened and how it's inspired a fundraising campaign here at home.
But there were absolutely no supplies. There wasn't a bucket to bathe somebody in.
Dr. Mary Chesvold and her mother Margaret recalled the December mission trip where Dr. Chesvold was part of the Volunteer Optometric Services to Humanity team. Together, they served 3,500 people in Bamenda, Cameroon, in West Africa. Her brother Dean, who was working with them on the eye care team, fell ill and wound up in the hospital.
No ambulance, went in a car. He collapsed. We were very, very nervous that he was going to live. We went into the emergency room. There's no curtains in the emergency room. There's no dividers. It's just 4 mattresses.
As Dean's health began to improve, Mary came up with a plan to thank the hospital for saving her brother by holding a medical equipment and supply drive at home.
You think about all the excess wraps that you have, all the excess gauze that you have, all the excess crutches, the walkers, the wheelchairs. Now, nothing that's mechanical.
Mary T. invites you to join in and drop off any medical supplies and equipment through May 15th in the front entryway at Margaret Place in Coon Rapids. They plan to send it in a shipping container to Cameroon.
And then any room we have left, we'll put in mattresses. If people have extra beds, we'll put the beds in there as well.
So look in your closet or garage for that forgotten piece of medical equipment to help others who have less.
This is a gift that we're trying to give back to them.
I'm Steve Antis for CTN Community Update.
Donations of non-electric medical equipment and supplies for the hospital are being accepted through May 15th. We have more information on our website, ctncoonrapids.com. A fifth grader at Mississippi Elementary School got a big surprise during lunch on Wednesday. Firefighters presented Peyton Anderson with the Honorable Mention Award she received from the Minnesota State Fire Chiefs Association for the poster she designed for Fire Prevention Week. In addition to the ribbon and $10 prize, Anderson received a certificate signed by Mayor Jerry Cook and the Coon Rapids Fire Chief. Hundreds of local students experienced nature at Bunker Hills Regional Park this week as part of the 51st Annual University of Minnesota Extension Natural Resource Field Trip. CTN's Jordan Rylance takes us to the outdoor classroom.
We are on this field trip to learn about science and nature.
These fifth graders from Hoover Elementary School turned Bunker Hills Regional Park into a classroom this week, learning about everything from gardening to invasive species.
When birds eat buckthorn, the berries, this is kind of disgusting, but they poop it out and it spreads the seeds, so it regrows.
We have been learning about traps, we've been learning about plants, we've been learning about what we can and can't go to around here.
The Natural Resource Field Trip has been getting kids out into nature for over 50 years, exploring what the great outdoors has to offer, learning from over 20 instructors.
They're out here enjoying nature, going to different stations to learn about different things like Master Gardeners, Anoka Conservation District, and they get to learn about natural resources and be out in nature and enjoy the sun.
So I come back out and I looked at, I had a gopher here. There's bits and pieces, so I know he's gone.
One of the highlights of the day came from Trapper Phil.
One of the traps, it literally, when you touch it, it goes like that. It's so cool.
An instructor who has been teaching kids about wildlife control in nature for over 20 years.
Some of these kids, I was told this morning, have never been out in the woods. They've never been out in nature to see what's really out here. And it's important for them to learn about nature and what goes on in nature. If this thing goes through my hand, I'm going to be crying like a baby on the way to the hospital.
For CTN Community Update, I'm Jordan Rylance.
More than 700 students from 9 different Anoka County schools took part in the Natural Resource Field Trip this week. Quite a show at the Coon Rapids Ice Center last weekend. Members of the skating school took part in the 28th annual Ice Fantasy Show. Skaters ranging from kids as young as 4 to adults took to the ice to show off their skills. There were also special guest performers, including the 2017 U.S. Junior Champions. If you missed the Ice Fantasy Show, watch for it in the coming weeks right here on CTN. City trucks and other equipment will be center stage at an open house coming up next weekend. The event will take place on Saturday, May 13th from 10 a.m. to noon at the Public Works facility off 111th Avenue. Residents are invited to come check out the snowplows, tractors, and other big rigs used in the city. You can also tour the Public Works facility and learn more about the Coon Rapids Recycling Center. The open house is free and will be held rain or shine. Let's hope for a lot more shine there. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for watching. Join us again next week.